start with Sammy and then go to Colin.
Nico, you were talking about spring, just fine-tuning your craft. How has that gone this fall, and what else do you need to do to kind of find yourself on these watch lists that you were left off of?
Yeah, the spring went very well. I don't think I missed one kick with the team, so I was very pleased with that, and I was trying to take that into the fall. And I was kind of hoping that a miss was going to happen here or there, just so I can feel that, and it did happen once. So now that it did, I'm ready to just get back on that high horse and keep making kicks. And when it comes to watch lists, I'm not too worried about a preseason watch list. So once the season starts up, I'll take a look at it if I'm on there or not.
Go on your right to Colin and then Zach B.
On the mental side of things, kicking is probably the most mentally taxing position on the field. How do you kind of go about that? How do you conceptualize that, whether that's on a day-to-day basis, but then when you're on the field, about to kick the ball, what's going through your head?
Yeah, I just make it a fun thing. I don't make it anything harder than it already is. I'm just there if the team needs me to knock down 3 points, and if I make it anything harder than that, I'm going to keep putting stuff in my head that I don't need, and I just make it very simple for myself and just kick the ball between the posts.
Stand right with Zach B and then go to Joe.
You didn't necessarily grow up with football. You had other sports. You talked about baseball in the spring and stuff like that. When was the first time you remember kind of watching football, taking the field? When was that? When did that happen?
First time I kicked a football, I'd say, was probably 7th grade. My boys were trying to force me to play football while I was playing soccer. And I kept saying no, and I didn't want to do it. I played for FC Dallas. I signed a contract that said I can't play school sports. And then I finally went out to a football field, and I kicked like a 45 in 7th grade, or it was some lower 40s. And they were like, you need to play football. So then I signed up for it in 8th grade, and from there it took off.
Go on your left to Joe and then to Daniel.
Of the guys we've talked today, you're the youngest, but also been here at IU the longest.
Right.
You see Mark come in last year, the other two this year. I mean, how have you tried to show him not just the ropes of maybe the culture of this team, but also just Bloomington itself?
Mark and Mitch, I don't hang out with them as much outside of football, but with Frankie, I feel like me and Frankie clicked a lot, so he comes over to my place a lot, and those younger guys as well, like Quinn and Josh and Bryce, I'm with them, kind of friends outside the building. But with Mitch and Mark, it's more like a business thing. I come here and we talk. We see what we need to do on field goal to get better on the field, and I think it translates pretty well when you look at all of our stats in game.
Stand left with Daniel and then go to Seth.
You and Brendan, why did you click? When did you click? Just how did that kind of grow?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like both of us really don't care what we say. We're very open. We'll say what's on the top of our mind. And I think a lot of people aren't like that these days. So when you see a guy like that in the locker room, you kind of just want to be friends with him.
Like Call of Duty as well?
I don't play Call of Duty, but maybe some FIFA here and there. Yeah.
Go left to Seth and then to Pete.
And Nico, what would you say your range is on field goals right now? Where was it, I guess, last year? And what's that process look like for you in the offseason of trying to build that up?
Yeah, it's a very long process. I mean, you're playing with centimeters, basically, where you want to hit the ball. I'd say last year I was probably capping off in season at like 53, but then randomly against Purdue I was hitting 58 in the snow. So, and then right now I'd say I feel pretty comfortable at 55, which means I could hit it further than that, but I feel comfortable, sitting at 55, and I know I can make that kick.
Go left to Pete and then to Zach B.
Nico, how did you, growing up, how did you hone your accuracy? How do you maintain your accuracy? I'm assuming you don't try to kick into mailboxes, although maybe you do.
Not at all.
But what is the technique to get that accuracy?
Yeah, so when I started kicking, my kicking coach put me on the 20-yard line, and I wasn't allowed to move. It was just the 20-yard line, you're going to make it down the middle every single time. And I probably was stuck on that 20-yard line for months. I mean, I could say probably half a year, 6 months, I was on that 20-yard line. I'm a coach. I need to go further. Like, I'm tired of this 20-yard line. And it was like, no, you're hitting 20-yard line over and over again. It got to a point where I realized that, I'm getting pretty accurate. And then when I get back to 45, when I get back to 55, it just feels like I'm on the 20-yard line, and he's right behind me watching me. So, say it again.
How old were you at that point?
Freshman year of high school, I was probably starting up. Yep.
Go on your right to Zach B. Then go to Joe.
When did football officially overtake soccer for you?
It was sophomore year of high school. It was a really tough decision. Talked to my parents a lot, talked to my coaches. My soccer coach was very mad at me. that I decided to quit soccer. But I think at the end of the day, it was the smartest decision for me here in the U.S. Football is a little bit stronger than soccer here.
We'll go left to Joe, and we'll wrap up with Sammy.
Between getting the nod to go take a kick during a game and then before you like go and take your steps, do you have a routine that you have? I mean, everyone kind of saw like Zane Gonzalez with his helmet in the playoffs. Like, do you have something like that?
Like I answered the question earlier, it's just I feel like if you overcomplicate it, a lot of things can go wrong. So I just jog out there. I probably get one swing in, just in air, and just wait for Mitch to say the cadence, and I just kick the ball and walk my butt back to the sideline.
We'll finish up second row right with Sammy.
Nico, you also did onside kicks last year. What's the process of practicing those? It's a funny bounce on the ball. Do you get creative with it on how you tee it up and steps like that?
Right. It's a completely different swing than a field goal. With a field goal, you want to swing up on the ball, and with an onside, you want to really slam that ball into the ground to get a bounce. Now, sometimes you will get lucky with a bounce, and sometimes you'll get unlucky, but if you can just try to cancel out those mistakes in between and really know where you're hitting the ball and swinging down on it, I think you could get about the same result every time.
Thanks, Nico.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate you.